So some of the other notable stuff in free agency is Rudy Gobert getting traded from the Jazz for everything Minnesota has to offer except for Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Pretty much every other player and draft pick. Like, I could not believe when I saw it, the haul. I was like, well, of course you have to trade Gobert if you're the Jazz.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? You just robbed them.
Yeah. But Blake, as the only Jazz fan on this show, what were your thoughts on what the Jazz are doing?
I think it's smart because, first of all, I think the Jazz should keep Donovan Mitchell. But I know there's trade rumors out there for him. But I'm like, Rudy Gobert was the problem of why you couldn't advance in the playoffs. And I mean, some other minor things. But, like, he was the main reason where you have this that's like your second best player who you can't even play in the fourth quarter or really the whole game of these playoff games because he can't defend that corner wing or the corner three spot. And they would just eat him alive from that. So I think it was smart to trade him, especially when you can get everything under the sun for him. I'm like the Timberwolves just got robbed because did they not watch what happened to the Jazz?
This is what I didn't get is I don't know why from the Jazz perspective I say A+.
Yeah.
You guys you robbed Minnesota blind. From the Timberwolves, I give this like a D- cuz yeah, you got Rudy Gobert, but I don't know why they were pursuing after him as intently as they were. They have a center, and he's probably the third best center in the NBA.
Like, I know. I'm like, so you're going to play him and Towns at the same time. And like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird because also, I think they'll be better in the regular season. Like, they'll probably have a better record than they did last year, obviously. Yeah. Especially with, like, the younger guys, Anthony Edwards and whatnot, getting older. But I'm just like, in the playoffs, they're not going to do anything because they can't play him.
Yeah, like I'm like, this is going to be really fun to play with on 2K.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm like, I don't see like the spacing.
Well, because Anthony, like Towns works perfectly because he can be on the outside. You can play like a 5-man out, and that's perfect for Anthony Edwards because he's not the best shooter in the world. He's more of like a Dwayne Wade type slasher to the basket. So it worked perfectly because your center, Towns, who's one of the best centers in the NBA, can be on the outside because he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. Now you have Gobert clogging up the middle. It's the exact same thing, the exact problem Donovan Mitchell had. Because Anthony Edwards and Donovan Mitchell kind of have similar games.
Yeah. Very big volume shooters.
Yeah.
They may not make all their shots and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both like they're decent 3-point shooters, but they're not like Steph or anything like that. Like they do a lot of their damage at the rim.
Well, and I think this might have been worst of all for the rest of the NBA because everybody knows in the past, I don't know how many All-Star games Rudy Gobert has made, but he's been picked last. He's been the worst All-Star.
Yeah,
and this is what they got for him. Now you got guys like Kevin Durant requesting a trade. I'm like, well, they're going to expect something way better. If you were the Minnesota Timberwolves, you could have just waited a little bit and probably traded all that for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, and that's the thing too, is it ups, like you just said, it ups everyone else's trade value because now the Jazz are looking at trading Donovan Mitchell, who's a way better asset than Rudy Gobert, in basically everyone's opinion, I think. And I heard something that he could go for like 6 or 7 draft picks from the Knicks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
because the Knicks have 8 picks they can trade. And I'm like, knowing the Knicks, they'll end up losing all of them.
Yeah. Oh, man. See, this is exactly, you know how Danny Ainge, he loves his draft picks. And he swindled the Nets way back when with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. And he's going to swindle Minnesota and the Knicks.
Well, because didn't
because
those picks,
just the idiots of the NBA that everybody takes advantage of.
yeah, like
He'll
didn't those
probably
picks
swindle the Kings somehow.
true. He'll trade Bogdanovich, whatever, for like more picks from the Kings or something. Who knows? But uh, didn't those picks that Danny Ainge got for trading Paul Pierce and KG and all them turn into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown
They did.
and Marcus
Yes.
Smart?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
all
like,
three of them.
Jazz
Well, no,
could
I
be.
don't know about Marcus Smart because he was drafted earlier.
Was, oh,
Yeah, he's been the longest tenured Celtic on the team.
oh, maybe not then. But
Yeah,
regardless,
well, I'd
I
have
knew
to
he
fact
was
check that, but
drafted
I
by
know
them.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were both from those Nets picks.
Yeah, so I'm like, Jazz maybe in a couple years could be sitting better than they are now.